Yeah. So what? It's your boy Bitz and Bobz. Yes, people, how we doing? Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are. If you're watching this, please, if you are watching this, come onto YouTube. Tell us where you're watching it from. No point watching Liverpool against Wolves because it's a dead game. Listen, today I am joined by three friends, where we're going to talk about something monumental that happened at the weekend in the West Brom game. I'm joined by Darren from Eyes on the Ball TV. Darren, you all right?
I'm good, bro. Pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the conversation, man. As you said, it was big. So, yeah, can't wait to get into it.
100%. And also, I'm joined by my little bro, Prime. Prime, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, Zaha did something that I mean we're gonna get into it anyway, but yeah, I'm just good. I'm good.
Yeah. And obviously, Uncle Laurie, thank you for coming. Obviously, we had a conversation last week, obviously. And yeah, man, we said we wanted to do more collabs. So here we are, my friend. How are you? Can you hear us? Laurie, you there?
Yeah. I don't know what gremlins, man. Someone always seems like gremlins when they come onto to the street. Yeah. Big up everyone. Yeah, we've got so much to unpack with this. Trust me, we're ready.
Yeah,
No holding back today. Trust me, no holds barred.
100%, 100%. And I'm just
It's
going to go in
something
this
that
order the way I introduced you guys, right? So we all know what happened. Zaha didn't kneel down. And for me personally, I'm quite happy he didn't kneel down because it's a joke. You know, the fact that you think that the FA said, let's kneel before the game to stand in solidarity against racism. Now, guys, we're all black men here. We know 100% that kneeling on the ground in the UK isn't going to stop racism, as we've seen all over social media within the last few years. Now, 2016, Colin Kapp kneeled down in a preseason game for the 49ers. That's where it came from, because obviously he wanted equality. He wanted his people not to be treated. And George Floyd happened, may rest in peace. I want to ask you guys this. When they brought it out, Darren, I'll go to you first. When they brought this kneeling out thing, I was thinking, are you joking me? Is that the best? Is the contribution the best thing you can do is to be saying to us, we're going to kneel down before we kick off? Darren, what's your thoughts, man?
I'm not surprised. Man, because at the end of the day, these people are about their bottom line. You speak about Colin Kaepernick, and I watched the NFL, so I was kind of in the loop in terms of what was going on over there, and the response was crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy how far behind they are in comparison to what we're looking to do. Do you know what I mean? Because he got vilified for taking a knee at the time, and he's unemployed now till this day. Do you know what I mean? He still doesn't have a job in the league, which is ridiculous. But yeah, man, I think the truth is that they don't want to, promote change. Do you know what I mean? They're only doing it as a token gesture. They're doing it because the NFL came to a realization that they were wrong in trying to vilify Colin Kaepernick and getting onto him for what he was doing. And the Premier League is very reactionary, man. It's not, they're not doing it to lead the way. They're just doing it to say, here we are, we're doing what we can. It's a token gesture. And that's the truth, man. I think it's sad, but really and truly, it's when we're talking about these big organizations, the only way I believe that will, take steps forward is by pushing our black people that are our leaders to the top of these organizations. That's how I believe we're going to create change, because with the way things are ran at the moment within them, I don't see them changing their bottom line and trying to promote change. But there's a lot to get into, man. There's so many different avenues that we can take it with. But I think that the first point I want to hammer down is that they're not about making change, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's a token gesture.
100%.
They're doing it as basically like a tick box type thing. And yeah, man, it's sad, but it's just a reality.
Laurie, before we go to Prime, Laurie, Uncle Laurie, I mean, it's sad, but it's factual. You know, I still think it's laughable that they want to kneel down to say, yeah, we stand with we stand with you against racism. Kneeling down isn't going to help. What was your thoughts when it came out and players starting to do this?
For me, it's all about that. It's all about how can we find a way to capitalize and make money out of this and draw attention to it. Even the campaigns on TV, this I am crap. What's it doing? What's it really truly doing? For me, the people that they should have been going to and addressing this with was Kick It Out. Where's Kick Out saying this now? I don't think it had anything to do with this because, as you said, it's just a follow fashion thing for them. Like Colin Kaepernick done it. Yes, like he done it, and it was something that was meaningful. It meant something, and as Darren said, it's unfortunate that he's still not in employment. For him taking a stance on how he felt about the current affairs within America. That was America. So there wasn't original with what they did for them to do the whole thing over here in the first place. And two, as I said, what say did Kick It Out had in this? I thought Kick It Out was who represented us over here. So surely they would have said, you can come up with something better than just putting a knee down. And the reactions it's been getting throughout the whole time this happened. We've seen what happened at Millwall, and for them, that's when it should have stopped, really. And the fact that Zaha said that he was going to stop kneeling, why has it been made a big thing? For me, they're making it a big thing for the wrong reasons. He said it's not like he just all of a sudden Saturday came and he stopped kneeling. It's something that he's felt strongly about, isn't doing anything for us. And he will know because he's he did play for England at youth international level. So if he was still playing for England, would he be getting this sort of attention for it? That's what we've got to ask ourselves. Because look at Sterling. Sterling gets negative press, and he's supposed to be one of England's leading players. But I'm not comparing the two. But the fact that he's not playing for England is their way of singling him out.
Prime, what Laurie's just said there, if Zaha was playing for England, would it get more media attention? Probably would, which is factual. When they brought it out, okay, what did you think? Because you're Irish. You live in Ireland. I live in Scotland, and the guys at the bottom here, they live in London. So we are representing the UK tonight.
Funny enough, we are not the stereotypical what you did, but I've never been a fan of taking the knee or the whole kick it out campaign. The taking the knee, in terms of NFL, the sport and the culture and American culture, that makes sense and I understand it. But in terms of the FA or UEFA, it doesn't do it. I've said this so many times and had so many conversations with people that a racist incident will come out. So a fan will racially abuse a player, and then there'll be what they'll do is they'll start throwing out the ads of say no to racism, and we have to kick it out. And then for a match day weekend, everyone will take the knee, or they will wear a special armband or something, or they'll have fancy laces. And they'll do it for about a week or two, and then everyone forgets about it for 2-3 months until there's another incident that happens and another one. There's no real change. I would rather no one takes the knee because they clearly don't care. They're not doing anything. So kneeling, it gets to a point now it's just mockery. At least to me anyway. I just look at it as a form of mockery. The whole say no to racism campaigns, which still look the same as they did 5 years ago.
Yep.
Or 10 years ago when I first started to notice them. So you might as well just not do it if you're not going to actually try and do something to make a difference. And I hear people that say you can't get rid of racism or sexism out of football. You can. It's not in society. Okay, fair enough. Everyone has the right to their own thoughts and free will. and you're going to have people who are going to think that way. Okay, that's a different issue in itself.
Yeah.
But within sport, it's very easy to tackle. Look at something simple, but look at rugby, for example. Is there not a rule where no one's allowed to crowd or pressure the referee, and everyone respects that? And I know that's quite simple in comparison to something like racism, but it can be done quite not easily, but it can be done. But they just don't care enough because this is not even me saying that they're the heads of the FA or the heads of the UEFA. I'm not even saying they're racist. They're probably not, but they don't have to care. There's no reason or monetary incentive for them to care because black players are still going to play football. Rashford's still going to play football, even though he's going to get abused. Sterling's still going to play. Mbappe, he's still going to play.
I think for me, right, what you said there, I agree with all three of you, and it's interesting, isn't it? That racism is a poison, okay, that is probably will never die. I think we're all aware of that. But in our scenarios and in our organizations and stuff, there's a way you can control that and eradicate it out. And I always think that if it doesn't affect you, it's not about caring. If it doesn't affect you, it's not relevant. It's not priority. And I've always wanted all the black players in the Premier League to not play. Just turn up and just be like, I'm not playing today. Good luck to you. and do you know, like we saw what shout out to Stoppage Time TV because I was listening to their pod today. You know, we saw what LeBron done. Okay. We saw what Cap has done. Now, I'm not saying Zaha holds the same weight as them in football, but for me, it's like, okay, where do we go now? Because we saw kick out for racism, stand up to, we say no to racism, give racism the red card, it's a load of rubbish. We've also seen this new advert, I'm in, to say I'm in against racism. Shut up. Because some of the people you've got saying I'm in, we're done for spitting on people driving down a motorway. Do you know what I mean? Some of these people probably have no idea on the actual subject racism. So I'm just laughing. And I think my next question, my next point is Sam said it there and I wanted to touch on it. Referees. We all saw what happened with the referee. Okay. The referee said he squared up to a player. 24 hours later, FA create a new rule regarding referees. And I was laughing. I thought, wow, your referees wear black, you know. They wear the black strip, the black referee strip. But the people with black skin, you're still struggling. So, Dan, I'm going to come to you now, right? Okay, Zaha stood up. You saw that. As a black man, how did you feel?
I felt proud, man. I felt proud because he's making a statement.
Proud?
Because he's making a statement, man. He's saying that these token gestures aren't enough. Do you get what I mean? I think it's at the end of the day, it is the value of it is diminishing because they're not building on what they've started. Do you know what I mean? Because that shows your intentions. I give them credit for implementing it in the first place, but then you have to take steps forward. You have to improve the volume of the message, improve the quality of the message because racism isn't going anywhere. And in terms of Zaha, I give him a lot of credit. As I said, he's trying to make the statement that more needs to be done. And I like what he preaches in terms of social media as well, because he always preaches that social media companies need to be held accountable, and 100% agree with that. I've seen a petition going around. I think it's got over 100,000 signatures about social media companies having to you basically have to verify your ID before you can create an account.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that, I believe that's now needed. Do you know what I mean? Social media is now a huge part of our lives. Do you know what I mean? And the rate at which people are taking abuse on social media, it can't stay. Like things have to change in terms of social media platforms. And I love that Zaha's pushing that message. Very important message. But I think, as I said, just proud, man, because at the end of the day, it's about chipping away at, because racism it's not going to go away overnight. Do you know what I mean? And it's about taking steps forward each and every day, each and every trying to do just trying to do everything we can in terms of trying to eradicate racism and just pushing black people forward, man. And again, I like the fact that he's trying to take it away from the gestures and let's get into some actual legislation.
Action.
Let's get into some actual, you know what I mean? Let's make some moves that actually impact change. And I give him a lot of credit for that, man, because not a lot of players are actually. I think he's the only one that's done it in.
He's the first one.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
The first one in the Premier League. In the Premier League, he's the first one. And
that's brave, bro. That's brave, and you got to commend him.
It's not only just brave, right? For me, I think it's. I think for me, guys, and please, guys, if you're new, please subscribe. Please drop a like as well. Share it on all your socials. For me, it's not just brave; it's courageous, and also it's him saying, "Actually, do you know what? No, I'm not doing this. You know, like I'm not doing this. Why? I'm going to kneel down? No. We've seen over the years, man. Racism is not punished enough within the football clubs.
100%.
They get fined pennies and stuff. Where I want to concentrate now is he's now done this. Do you think other players are going to follow suit now?
Very good.
We've seen
question.
Brentford, we've seen QPR. Okay, we've also remember Les Ferdinand came out and said it before. He was like saying, you know, it's not a token gesture. You know, we're not looking to be gifted anything. Just help us stop it and protect us. So, Darren, what next? Where does this go now? Do you think anyone's going to follow suit?
Obviously, I can't predict the future, but we can only hope, bro, because the message that he's putting out there is important, and that's the only way we move forward at the end of the day. Because these gestures, these moments, it's not sustainable, and it's not going to actually lead to the change. And they know it. Do you know what I mean? They know that not continuing to push the message is going to, it's going to wear away eventually. That the 100%. Impact that they're trying to have is not going to last. And we can only hope, bro, that players see what he's done and follow his lead, man. Because as I said, the message that he's pushing is an important message, bro. Players get abused on a daily basis on social media, and he's trying to promote. Let's hold these social media companies accountable. And I'm sure all players are with that. I just hope that they're not, scared of the backlash that they'll get for it, and just understand that the message.
But how can they get back? This is the scary thing, though, isn't it? We're talking about backlash here. What is the backlash for standing up for equality? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
PR, his agent, the fans, social media, but those are the people we're still fighting against. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? The people that we're worried about the backlash is the same people that won't protect us. Laurie, I mean, you've heard what Darren said. Myself, do you think people are going to follow suit? What do you think happens now?
I like Darren said, although you can't predict the future, I do believe that a lot of people are going to take a stance on it, and they're going to follow suit. I mean, he has started off something where probably a lot of people have thought the same thing. I mean, as you said, all four of us are more or less in different parts of the country. And if we can think this, and we've been thinking it for a while, it's not like we woke up one day and said, this knee thing is getting ridiculous. Why are we still doing it? We know that Zaha, as you said, although he's not the biggest player in the world, or the most recognized player in the Premier League, we know that he started off something that is going to unravel, and the media is not going to like that. So they're going to paint a picture of him being the enemy when he's standing up for something that he believes in. And that's what pisses me off about this country. The fact that Sky Sports made a big deal and a big headline out of it, why they made it look like it was a negative thing rather than a positive energy. And
it's probably trying to hold them accountable, bro. Sorry to interrupt.
As you said, so yeah, no, it's fair enough, Darren. I agree. And like you said, our media don't protect us anyway. So what they've done there, the fact that they brought that out, they hung them up to dry, because that game is not going to be remembered for the fact that it was a Premier League game. It's going to be remembered for what Zaha did, for Zaha standing up for what he believes in, and Zaha standing for his rights. That's what the game's gonna be remembered for. It's not gonna be remembered for, as I said, what its whole purpose was. Is a Premiership game, which everyone's supposed to love and enjoy.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a South London boy, he's got a lot of things to take into consideration, because they'll look at it now. The one thing I was surprised about is that they didn't put something like, they like to portray the negativity, so they didn't put something like ex Moyes ex Moyes cheater stands up. Some people probably wanted to write things like that.
A noun or a verb or something. Yeah.
There would have been X something in there, but because he's still a footballer, they couldn't find something negative to say. So it's like, let's go with this headline and throw him out and hang him out to dry, because they haven't done right by.
I think we've lost him. Yeah, he's frozen. Prime. Just on what Lauren Darren was saying, what's your thoughts?
I think, all right. Devil's advocate, make an assumption that the governing body, they find a problem with what Zaha did.
Mm-hmm.
Then should they not then look at that as, why is it that black people who you're supposedly, or people of color you're supposedly trying to help with this campaign and stuff, why do they have a problem with this? Again, it just goes back to the fact that they don't care. Exactly. It just goes back to the fact that they don't care. They don't have to care. And all right, for example, do you guys remember this? Was it a year or 2 years ago? There was a rule that came in that if fans are making racial noise or gesture in stadiums,
3 warnings.
Yeah.
3 warnings. Yeah.
That
ridiculous.
When that rule came out, I think 2 weeks later there was an international break, and England were involved in that. England were going to, I think, Eastern Europe or something, to play a game there, and it was said if something happens, 3 strikes, which is even ridiculous anyway.
I know,
3 strikes, everyone comes off. I think there was like 5 times where the game had to be stopped because of racial gestures or words being said, but the game still kept on being played. So they even made a ruling and still can't stick to their own ruling. So it's
because it's got the mental attitude of just get on with the game, isn't it? Play the game, beat the bullies, play the game. No, because that doesn't actually beat the bullies. It just says to them, carry on. We're going to play regardless. What you should do, in my opinion, is stop playing and be like, do you know what? The money you paid to watch the game, good luck to you. We're not playing. And then what? Because no one can say to you, don't carry on and play because don't mind the racists. This is not someone calling you ugly or fat or flipping something that you can alter with your body. This is someone making fun of your skin color, whether you be anything visible ethnicity. And also, I need to chuck in the Irish get a lot of racism as well as the Northern Irish people get a lot of racism. So for me, I mean, I don't know where it goes, because for me, I was happy that he did stand. I just hope now, that a lot of people see that and be like, do you know what? Yeah, Zaha, I'm with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm gonna stand with you because this is actually BS.
Do you know what I think it does, bro? I think it puts these, like the Premier League, the FA, all these companies, it puts them on notice. Like, we want you to do more now. Do you know what I mean? If more players stand up, then it's like, okay, we've done the kneeling thing. We want to see what you're going to do now. And then we'll see how they respond. Like that, I think that would be big, because then it's like the players are saying, cool, we understand what you've done, we appreciate it, but now we want to move on. Because that is the message. They might try and dilute, what Zaha is saying, but that's what he wants. He wants change. And I think if players do stand up, hopefully they do, man. Like, praying that they do, because I think it could lead to big change. But it will definitely put these big organizations on notice to what are you going to do now? Like, we're looking for you to do more, and what are you going to do now?
But they've been on
notice. Question. Go on, Prime.
Sorry, they've been on notice anyway. Why should this be the difference maker? They've been on notice
But now they've given us the inch. Now they're giving us the inch with the kneeling thing. Now we'll see if they're gonna stop or if they're prepared to keep helping us. Then we'll know where they stand. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think I mean, yeah, but and people also said that with Black Lives Matter and marching and protesting. I'm not saying we shouldn't stop, but my point is that this whole thing of thinking this is going to be the, like, okay, for example, last year, right, the whole marching and everything, yes, made a difference, but then it's just going to get spun into again just being about PR and propaganda, and they're not going to take it seriously.
They're going to find something negative to flip it back onto us, like you're saying, Brian.
No, not even something negative. They're going to use it as a positive in terms of PR and publicity.
Yeah, but they're still going to turn it into something negative as well, because it'll come out like so many players are now against kneeling down to stand against racism. Mm-hmm. Are they not saying anything to racism and stuff? And I think to myself, like,
and don't you find this funny how quick last week's discussion that we had, I know I wasn't there for the whole thing, but it's funny how that discussion has been swept under the carpet and forgotten about, like it didn't happen. And now everything is on Zaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And this thing is going to get forgotten in another 2-3 weeks. This will get forgotten because there'll be something else in football, not even racial. The Champions League will come back up, and there'll be a big thing in the Champions League, and that will get forgotten.
I'm not talking about the football prime. I'm talking about literally what was on this channel a week ago in terms of talking about the sexism and what the racism with Megan. Why is that? Yeah. Have you noticed how quick that's disappeared from the limelight? And now Zaha's in the limelight for doing something that
they don't want to talk about it, bro, because they know she's right, bro. Exactly. See how quickly they know she's right. Let's be honest, like. Guys, you know what we're saying here. We knew when Megan said her thing. Most of us believed her because it's true. Like you don't have to look how they treated his mom. Do you know, if you're old enough to remember Princess Diana, trust me, that woman, God bless her, I swear to God, what she was doing for our communities, trust me. Yeah, she was going out in the hospitals, shaking hands. She was actually trying to make a change. They say that she was an attention seeker, but where they took pictures of her, she was going into these countries to say they need help, going into these neighborhoods to say they need help. You know, they changed a few legislations. We had celebrities start actually contributing to charities and so on, neighborhoods and so on. It actually made the monarchy try and be more modern, because it's not the whole stiff upper lip, stick your nose up and shit. Do you know what I mean? There's actually people outside here, and we saw the way they treated her. Do you know what I mean? The same thing happened with Megan, is that she's black, mixed race, whichever you want. She's black in my eyes.
Yeah, she's black.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because this is what happens. Because it's a negative portrayal of everything that's going on. She's black. She's mixed race, but this is a conversation that I've had to have with my kids. And I tell them, yes, I know you're mixed race and you love your mum as much as you love me.
Black.
But when it comes to certain things that will happen in your life, if you do something bad, you're perceived as black. If you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, you're perceived as black. They do it to their own people. Look, I know it's not quite the same, but look at Andy Murray. Andy Murray is Scottish when he loses and British when he wins. So if they can do that to Andy Murray, then you damn well know for sure they're going to do it to us even more. And it's something that we've been putting up with for years. And because the second we don't like it and we think, nah, you're taking a piss out of us and we want to make a stand, it's wrong. It's wrong for doing what you believe in. And that's 100%. Not how you should live your life. It's not how you should live your life.
Quick question. How do you, man, think, like, if players do stand up with Zaha in terms of, you know, him trying to say social media companies need to be held accountable, how do you think that the Premier League and FA and those guys will respond in terms of the social media perspective, security type.
They've got no choice but to back it. Do you know why?
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
someone with a brain in these meetings, I don't know, because I always ask, are black people in these conversations, in these rooms, when these subjects are being made? And sometimes I think they're not, because some of the things they come up with. I'd hope and pray that someone with a brain cell on the situation would be like, listen, look, get some data in, collect some data, and look, how many black people play in the Premier League? How many visible ethnics play in the Premier League? Now, if we're not even protecting white Irish people, white Northern Irish people, and we definitely ain't protecting the blacks, what do you think the Europeans are going to start doing? Do you know what I mean? Talk to me. What do you think they're going to start doing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. So for me, someone's got to. They've got to turn around and back end. It's got to be something severe, as in, even if they say to us, from now on, if there's any racism, blah blah, you're banned for 12 games, bro. Like, get out of here. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we need a punishment and a legislation to be like, okay, there's some intent here. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Because right now, we've seen Zaha, we've seen Ian Wright, we've seen Patrick Van Aanholt last week. I can go on.
Things is getting it.
That's just,
You know what
that's
it
just
is, though.
in
You know what it is,
1
though.
week.
Yep. Quickly, yeah.
Can I just hold tight? Did Eyes on the Ball get an investment or something? I'm seeing Darren with a new mic, seeing Daniel with a new mic. Like,
Not even.
you lot secure the bag or something? What are we saying? What are we saying?
Not yet, man. Not yet. But nah, man. I hope everyone's good though.
Yeah, man. Good evening, bro. Good evening.
My thing is about the whole situation, and I don't know if someone's already said it, but like we've spoken about all of this before. We've said it, like we've said the things that need to be put in place and things like that. It's not like we're not coming up with solutions and we're still seeing yet the same inconsistencies. Like, let's dumb it down. Let's like even take it all the way back to when people have kids, and sometimes you tell your kids to kneel down, raise their hands. Sometimes you maybe give them a little cheeky smack. Sometimes you give them a stern talking to. And the reason why you do different things for the different things that your kid might do is because of the severity of the punishment, no?
Yeah.
Or how many times someone does it, the recurring issues. Maybe if he continuously is lying, he's stealing all the time, stuff like that. Or if he was to punch someone up in school, he only needs to do that once for you to get mad with him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the FA now. The severity of racism isn't a big thing for them. It's not. The governing bodies, the people in charge don't see it as a big deal. That is why there isn't a big punishment that comes along with it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So until these institutions understand how serious, how much of an effect that it has, not on just the player that it's inflicted on, but on every single black player who plays in the Premier League, every single black fan who watches football, the disrespect that it is, until people can understand that, until these governing bodies can understand that, then there will be no change. Because at the end of the day, look, we spent all this time talking about taking a knee and all of that. Then, what was it? We saw that if you touch a referee or something, you can get a
24 hours later. 24
hours later, you can get a year's ban or something like that. I forgot what the punishment was. You can get a year's ban from the game, for example. When Cantona kicked that lady in the crowd, he got what, about 6 months off the game?
Yeah, we never.
Even Onana, the keeper, bro, he got like a year ban for the doping thing.
Bro, you can get a year ban for doping, but you will get maybe 1 game and a fine for racism.
No, what did the Leeds goalkeeper get? Was it not 6 games or something?
Six games.
He admitted it. He was like, "Yeah, I was racist."
Bro, do you know what I'm saying? And that is where the problem comes. Until these institutions, the guys in charge, understand how serious this matter is, like, there's nothing we can do. We can do all we can, but until they understand the severity of the situation, and that comes from having guys like us in those positions, and we keep striving to get there. Like whoever you are, like we're going to be supporting you. Until we have guys like us making those decisions, like I don't know if it will ever change. If I'm honest.
the sad thing is, bro, just quickly, Bobz. I think they do understand it.
Conversation.
Yeah, I think they understand it. They just prioritize it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it doesn't affect them. Their perspective is, listen, we're not going to do anything that affects our bottom line. As I said at the beginning, that I think they understand, they know, but they just don't. They're not. It's not a priority for them. That's why, again, as I said earlier, it's important that we get people in decision-making positions to actually say that this is in those positions so that they can make the change. Because with the way the system's set up right now, it's not a priority.
Wait, it's not a priority for them, but yet Harry Maguire gets arrested in Greece and he comes back and he gets an interview to
Bro,
explain
he was the most protected man on.
Bro.
And look, I'm not even in the business. I think me and Darren spoke about it. I'm not even in the business of bringing a man down. Like, we don't know the circumstances. He said he was there backing his family. The same goes for like someone like Eric Dyer, who went into the crowd.
Man done wrestling. Man done wrestling.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we know what would happen if someone came for one of our own. Of course, we would even overreact. Maybe some might call it overreacting. Of course, look, cool. We don't know the full story. The same way we're criticizing him for going out there and beefing is the same way we should consider maybe all the context. Not everyone knows the story. However, it's the repercussions after. It's everything after that. In any normal circumstance, I don't give a damn who you are. The captaincy should not still be on your arm. I don't care who you are. People have lost the armband for less. David De Gea literally questioned tactics, and that happens in football. I remember even Rio saying he questioned Alex's tactics in the Champions League final. So for De Gea to question Thingy's tactics, Rooney did it as well. He got his armband stripped.
But that's the way for questioning. So what's that telling you?
Sorry, say that again. I just couldn't hear you, bro.
But that's the way. Yeah, Sam.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. When it came out, yeah.
Wait. So Yapstam got sold because of something that he said.
Yeah, he made a comment about Fergie's. I think it was Fergie's tactics. He made a comment out, and Fergie got wind of it in a book, and Fergie sold him.
Do you know what I'm saying? But when Maguire came back, he was protected like I've never seen before. Like, you had United legends saying this guy's a stand-up guy, bro. We're not disputing his personality. We're disputing his actions. And you think every guy who comes out and does something, like, you think they're all bad guys? I have no doubts that John Terry is probably a stand-up guy who's probably cool to be around. Bro, his teammates say he's great to be around. However, actions have consequences, and he made a terrible mistake that he never owned up to. Until this day, I'll never rate him for that. Of course, the player, if we're talking about John Terry, the player, I always like to take it aside and look at it objectively. But talking about John Terry the person, I don't care what you tell me about him. I know he did something that affects me, and he didn't own up to it. And that's as simple as it goes.
Even when he had the opportunity to rectify.
Exactly. Twice. Also the documentary. He had multiple opportunities during the time when it was happening. When he came back out to do the doc recently, he had multiple times. And I don't care how late it is, as long as you own up to it. But he didn't. And that's what it comes down to. Maguire, in my opinion, didn't own up to it. And
do you know what you're saying? Accountability, right? And I think we have got to touch on the Harry Maguire part. And for the life of me, I couldn't believe it was even a discussion or a debate. Like, he should have been like, there should have been like an internal suspension to be like, yeah, you're not playing. Do you know what I mean? Like, take the band away from him. You're not playing. But it was like, oh, we stand with him, blah, blah, blah. But it was all the Greenwood and the Rashford racism and stuff. I didn't hear no noise from Man United. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? I didn't hear no nothing. Like, bro, my guy's playing for your club and being abused.
I'm so sorry. I have to bring another example because there's just so many examples. Let's even look at Berahino's situation at Stoke. Like, he got caught out on the night out, and he was being robbed that night. But that wasn't taken into account because he shouldn't have been out anyway, and then he got sacked by Stoke. That's fair enough because that's probably protocol. But if someone can get sacked for being out after curfew in his own country, but then someone goes to another country and goes and it just doesn't make sense.
Do you know why I'm
man.
laughing? Do you not think it's funny? Yeah, like we've all been abroad. Yeah, we've all been abroad. You know what I mean? Lads,
Yeah.
holidays, whatever. Yeah. We all know when you get on that plane and you step in another man's country, you already know you're saying to the man, then, yo, listen, any
The
beef,
police, yeah.
Best
we're
behavior.
walking. It's not like we're not scuffling. We are basically saying to each other, no trouble. Like every black man knows that. Like when you go abroad, no trouble, because we're the first to get lifted. Anyway, it's the same in the UK. We are always the first ones to be targeted at the end of the day. They take action on us and then they ask questions later. We haven't got that privilege to punch up man, tell man do you know who I am? 2-day, whatever court, whatever it is, come back and get an interview like a royal family. Are you dumb? Are you crazy? My guy got an interview with the BBC. Like
the thing is, my thing is, what
the BBC
United did with what United did with Harry Maguire. The thing is, okay, I don't even have a problem with that necessarily. It's just treat every player like that. Then Greenwood.
No, but I do have a problem with that, Prime. Do you know why? Because it's basically saying to me that Greenwood can be called troubled, whatever, lazy. We all know the nouns, the words, the buzzwords they use for us, right?
Yeah.
And he gets dropped. Now, my guy has not beaten someone up. Okay, he's not went abroad, caused gradual body. I'm gonna say it, GBH. We all know what GBH is. Gradual body harm to people, not threatened someone, not bribed anyone. And he's chilling in the stands. And Harry Maguire is coming on saying, like, stay on side, Rashi, can't score from 1 yard out and stuff. And that's what you call the privilege. That's the difference. And what annoys me is just that these pundits will never ever talk about it. And this is why I don't listen to them anymore. Because to me, they're just white noise. Literally white noise. Like, excuse the pun, but like seriously, white noise.
But that's why I said, if you're going to treat one player, so Maguire, Greenwood should also have been treated like that as well. Because from the media and the FA, how they're going to treat players, fine, whatever. But the clubs should do everything they can to protect their own players. Like Callum Hudson-Odoi with the sexual assault, the rape allegation that he got last year. Chelsea did everything they can to protect him.
Yeah.
Like that's what clubs should be doing. It doesn't matter. Forget that he's black. Chelsea did everything that they can to protect their own player, and that's what clubs should do. It shouldn't like how someone else.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of that's definitely what clubs should do. But when we look at companies like the BBC now, like the fact that they're giving Maguire the opportunity to control the narrative, a black player will never get that opportunity. Never get that opportunity. And I think that's the funny thing, because they won't even, allow us to have our narrative heard, let alone do it for ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Maguire got the opportunity to do it himself, tell his side of his story. But in terms of black people, we can't even get our story heard, let alone doing it ourselves. And I think that's an example there, man, because the fact that he actually got a BBC interview is ridiculous. And he's a shitful player anyway. He shouldn't even
bro, let's deep it, yeah. He got coverage from Greece, yeah. And they were like, we all saw the headlines. Star player, role example. How did he get arrested? Because he beat a policeman up. That's why he got arrested. And the way it just died down, and I was thinking to myself, like, boy, they like we say, like, you have no fear, because it means basically it doesn't matter what you do, there will be no consequences.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? But for
Exactly.
us,
they're very subjective with what they want to remember. Very subjective. Because, as you said, there's like the things that we don't forget, and we've been discussing throughout today's episode. It's funny that we remember them, and we can we all know what it's like. We take receipts and we can bring you the evidence. And what are they going to do with our evidence? Get a lighter and burn it.
Literally.
And I mean, okay, guys, before we wrap up, right? I mean, obviously, like, we didn't see too much coverage on it because I think, what happened in the North London derby probably covered it, clouded over it. But what are we realistically gonna see now? Because I want, being Darren was saying, I want every black player not to kneel down. I don't want it. I think it's stupid. And what I want, and that's my last question. What do you want? So I want the money that goes into these campaigns, okay, to like say I'm in all the stupid adverts that they do in black and white as well, which I don't know. I don't understand why. Like, like we're not colorful and we don't express our characters. I want the people that put money into these things to put money into the club. Give people jobs. Like, organizations have equality officers. They have player liaison officers, right? Well, actually, do you know what I say to these people? Actually, do you know what? Come and teach us. Once every 2 weeks, once a month or something, where the players, everyone in the club, has to be in a lecture. And the lecture is like a workshop where they teach you and they educate you on why certain buzzwords can be, just teach you on racism, teach you not even to show us empathy, because you'll never understand it. We don't want your empathy, just to know, to be aware. That's what I want. I mean, I'll go round. Daniel, what's your thoughts? What would you like to happen?
What would I like to happen? That's a big question.
Do you don't think Daniel's mic's like the match of the day one? Look at it. nice microphone. I might have to. You know what I mean? I might have to drop
a. You know when every man has their mic here, they're not touching anything. They're just playing around and moving it like, hey, just what you're saying. But nah, man. On the real though, like, in all seriousness, it's a huge question, man, and it's really, really tough. And I'm always a fan of, look, as much as we're complaining, make sure you have solutions to back yourself up. In terms of the kneeling thing, at first it was a gesture. Now I do believe it's a gimmick. I do believe it's just something that we do, and sometimes we lose meaning of it. And a great indicator to that is when I was watching the Brighton Southampton game this weekend on Sunday, and the commentator just said, the players will take a knee now, and we're off. Didn't even explain to the viewers what the knee is for. Like, and I caught him. I was like, look at it, just in plain sight. They've even forgotten. That's how you know it's a gimmick now. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, education also starts from the commentators. Viewers are there. Explain to them why, and they have to do it. It should be an obligation. It's part of your job description to explain why they 100%. Take a knee. Look, I'm not discrediting any other movements that we have, and I value all of them. But when players wear the rainbow armband, the rainbow laces, that gets explained in detail, in depth, and people know what it is. People know what it's about making sure there's equality, and equality within sexuality, equality within sexuality should be treated the same as equality within race. You know what I'm saying? So there's one. Education can come on our screens through the commentators, through commentary and stuff like that. But of course, it's down to the institutions at the end of the day to take this thing seriously. Like, how many games was Suarez banned for abusing Evra?
I think it was 8, and they done T-shirts as well.
Yeah.
Bro, there needs to be a 20-game ban.
That was wearing the T-shirts. I don't know if they actually.
Exactly, it's a joke thing. And even to be fair, Henderson came out. I think Henderson came out anyway and said it was wrong.
In the documentary of Anton.
Carragher said it was wrong.
See, this is the thing, though, right? This is why, like, I don't want your apology. And shout out to Abigail Lawal. I hope you are subscribed. It's gonna get booed. This kneeling wants fans back. Listen, it already did get booed by the Millwall fans. Let's be honest. See with that, see your apology. I don't want your apology. Honest to God, guys. See, when Henderson came out, I was like, yeah, I think it was wrong. If you knew it was wrong, why did you do it? Why did you not say, listen, by the way, no, this is we can't do this. Don't come out years ago because it's now relevant for a conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? That's like me saying I saw Daniel on the street and I bopped him in his jaw, and then I ran off. And then I see
Years later.
see Daniel. I see Eyes on the Ball on Sky Sports News, and then there's me like doing a documentary, be like, yeah, do you know what? I was probably wrong to do this, you mate. Do you know what I mean? Nah, bun that. I don't want your apology because we all know from the age of 5 what's right and what's wrong. Racism is not taught. Okay, but as you get older, you go to primary school, you go to secondary school, you are aware socially of what society is. And when you are aware of someone has been found guilty of being racist, and you lot do t-shirts to say we support the person that has been guilty of racism.
And it was Liverpool that was pushing that. It was the club that was pushing it. That's just how crazy it is.
And then look, karma's a beauty. Look at them. Look at their 2 wingers right now. 2 Africans.
And have you heard the statistics, bro? They say that hate crime against Muslims has actually reduced since Salah shut up, which is
that's scary. That's scary. Prime, man. What would you like to see, man? What would you like to see? Shout out! Oh, by the way, shout out to Beats Corner. It's your boy Beats in the building.
come on.
Prime.
No, he's thinking. No Prime does that.
No, the thing is,
He does it. He looks up and then he does the thing with his hands.
And you think he's lagging.
Yeah.
this is not about me. It's about Zaha. The thing is, I don't even know because, well, what I do know is that this is just going to become some sort of a PR gimmick. Okay, I know next weekend there are going to be some players who won't take the knee and some players will. And it's going to become a thing of what's right and what's wrong, and that's going to be what circulates and take over the headlines. There's going to be no real action or no lasting action is actually going to be taken. Bobz, you're right. Try and have some workshops and education, but again, that is just going to be spun with some PR. There was a liaison officer that went into Manchester United today to speak and talk with Ollie and the players about racism and what to do and what not to. It's gonna be a joke. It's not going to be taken. It's just going to be turned into a joke. And then what happens after? Because if that happens, and then a few days after in the game, there's a racial incident with a Man United fan or a Man United player gets targeted with abuse. Man United. You know what? I'll just do this instead. There's a Man United fan or a player who's targeted with abuse. What then? What are you, not you specifically, but what are people going to say? Because you just had a liaison officer that came in and spoke to you about racism, and it still happened. I think fans also have to be educated. There's this culture within football where when you look at chants and you look at what's said about your rivals, if you actually listen to what's being said, if it was like, I didn't, for example, the way Arsenal fans and Tottenham fans speak about each other, the way Chelsea and Arsenal fans speak about each other, United and Liverpool, if it wasn't the fact that it was football, if it was two races speaking like that about each other, or a white person speaking about a black person like that, it would be racism, wouldn't it? Or discrimination. But because it's football, it's taken that it's okay because it's a part of the banter. That's something that also needs to be looked at because it's part of football culture, and people think it's okay because, oh mate, I'm just giving a bit of banter, like the whole DVD thing and stuff like that. It's just football banter.
No, you're right. That's why I think the workshops need to come in because you need to educate. Laurie, what do you want to see? What happens?
Right, a few things. First of all, the kneeling just needs to stop. I mean, like the whole point of this discussion, it was there for a purpose, but it's played out. It is played out to the max. Like it needs to stop. And all this Some people doing it, some no. They're literally going to make a mockery of it. So rather than it be have a mockery made of it, I think we should just stop it completely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I agree with the whole education thing, but for me, that's something that needs to be implemented in other areas as well. Like I know I've touched on it before, but at my son's school, they're very strong on that sort of thing. So it needs to be in schools. It needs to be in the academy with the academy players. Like people need to know how to deal with the press, the PR, social media. It's something that needs to be implemented when you go into an academy.
And Darren, what do you think, Darren?
Just quickly, I want to see Zaha approach Palace with what he wants. Do you know what I mean? Because what he is promoting is something very important in terms of the social media security, all the things that he's promoting. I want to see it. I want to see more players standing up, and I want to see players taking it to teams, because teams have to take it seriously when it's coming from their players. Do you know what I mean? And I think we can see some change if we see that.
100%. Listen, everyone, thank you so much in the cut for tonight. Thank you for joining us. As I said, I've always told everyone I'm going to do a bit more stuff. Everyone knows what I'm passionate about: Man United, equality, and obviously talking about racism. For me, it was massive. And I hope that other young black men and other visible ethnics can see what Zaha's actually done, because I think what he done there is going to be monumental. I think it is monumental. I think in 5-10 years to come, I hope the symbol of him standing up makes a change. Peace and love to everyone. Like and subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Good night.